Hi, I'm Chad Rushing, and I just wanted to talk to you about something that I've been playing around with, and that's a sort of concept of scientific spirituality, a more scientific approach to our inner spirituality, our that appeals to our sort of religious nature that seems to be sort of built into humankind. Um, I really have wondered about this for a long time because it just seems like if we really were to approach our inner life in a more of a scientific way, I think we would probably get a lot more results from spiritual practices. Now, what do I mean by a scientific approach to spirituality? Well, let's look at how science works. First of all, first you have a hypothesis. You have this idea and you want to see if it's true or not. So the first step is to set up experiments to an extent. And the idea being that you can prove it or disprove it. If your experiment works, then you're further along to a theory. So in science, it goes hypothesis, theory, law. Now, a theory still has a ton of evidence behind it. Hypothesis is, what if orangutans actually spoke a different language than we do? That's your hypothesis. So Jane Goodall, she mainly works with chimpanzees, but let's say Jane Goodall goes out and she gathers all of this evidence. Now at this point we can go from hypothesis to theory if she finds a lot of evidence to support the fact that orangutans speak a different language than we do. She would be able to document, okay, this seems to be a word, this seems to be a word, or the equivalent in orangutan. And then we would be able to start creating that as a theory now, okay? So a theory has way more backing to it than a hypothesis. Most of the times where people want to say, well, that's just a theory. No, a theory in science is really well grounded. The only reason that it has not become a law at this point is because there's still some level of possibility that it can be disproven. So in this manner, we can then, first of all, I wanted to talk about what a theory is. It's not just, Jim Bob made up some idea sitting on his toilet and at 3 o'clock in the morning and now it's a theory. No, that's still a hypothesis. So how do we apply this to spirituality? Well, first of all, you still have to meet those criteria. And obviously that's the Cliff Notes version of science. How do we apply how do we apply scientific principles to spirituality? Well, first we start with a hypothesis, then we test it through a series of experiments, we see if it's true or not, and then we can get to the point where it becomes a theory. So you'd go spiritual hypothesis, then you'd go a spiritual theory, and then theoretically you'd go into a spiritual law. Some things that have been proposed as spiritual laws is that, love is all there is, love begets love, kindness begets kindness. One axiom is as above, so below. There's several. So we're going to play around with this on this channel. And I tend to take more of a spiritual approach to mental health because it's helped me. If this approach doesn't work for you, then those meditations don't have to be spiritual. You know, just feeling your breath go in and out of your nose has nothing to do with God, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus. Pick a deity and insert it there. And when I say spirituality, I'm also not talking about a God worship or worship of several gods. To me, we've covered this in a different video. It's more of that inner realm. I think it's that whatever it is that connects everything around us. You know, call it the Tao if you like. So non-duality is another way of putting it. So we want to play around with this idea. So I'm going to collect my thoughts over the next couple of days. We're going to start a series on spiritual science or whatever. And then we are going to, frankly, we're just going to see where it takes us. You know, you have, let's explore the law of attraction. Does that work? It's called a law. Is it really a law? You know, can we find spiritual laws and disprove them or prove them? And frankly, you know, it's going to be really difficult to have the full scientific rigor to this, but I will do my best, and I hope that we can explore this together. And, you know, if you have any ideas of spiritual laws that you're aware of, let me know. Write a comment below. While you're down there, hit that subscribe and we can continue the conversation. I really want, I'm kind of excited about this. I've been thinking about doing this for quite some time, and I guess now's the time. So I think first let's tackle, because this is probably the biggest one in popular thought, is the law of attraction. So I think we'll tackle the law of attraction. I need to devise a set of experiments, and oh, my wife got this for me for Father's Day, and it finally showed up. But you know, I've always had a strong interest in science, and I've always had a strong interest in spirituality, and so I'd like to really bring those two together. If we can find a thoroughly scientific method towards spirituality, maybe we could take a step forward as humankind. And that's really the goal, I think, of spirituality, is to grow humanity. So I'm Chad Rushing. Like I said, hit that subscribe. If you have some spiritual laws you would like to explore, or spiritual theories even, let me know, and I'm just really excited to do this. So I'll see you next time, and I'm sure there's going to be a few Leroy videos in the meanwhile. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.